Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering the Hairy Scare of the Devil Bear, and this is episode 8 of the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo season 1, and it originally aired on November 10th, 1979. This episode sees the gang visiting the Grand Canyon, where they encounter a legendary devil bear that haunts the cave dwellings within the canyon. Not much trivia with this one other than that's the gang's second visit to some cave dwellings, the first being a bum steer for Scooby. We also learn in this episode that Shaggy has a coward's handbook. Well, anyway, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get on with the review. The episode begins with a female archaeologist searching around in some cliff-dwelling caves. Unhappy that she's only found some cave paintings and some broken pottery, she soon ends up finding something more fierce, the devil bear.
It's the demon bear!
We then cut to the gang on a mule tour of the Grand Canyon. Freddy asks Ranger Brantley about some of the cliff dwellings, and the ranger replies that he warned the archaeologists digging around there that it's not a safe place to poke around.
So this is the Grand Canyon. Boy, it sure is scenic.
But Daphne, not everybody likes their scenery. Straight down.
What's that over there, Ranger Brantley?
Old Indian cliff dwellings. Some archaeologists are digging there now. I warned them, though. It's not the sort of place to go poking around.
Ranger Brantley introduces the gang to Professor Carver, a male archaeologist. His partner explains that she recently saw the devil bear. The kids are curious and want to look for clues, so Ranger Brantley heads off as he wants no part of this mystery.
Professor Carver, you've got visitors.
The cliff dwellings are haunted by an old Indian legend, the devil bear.
Well, the devil bear is just an old superstition.
I saw it and it looked real enough to me.
Well, whatever it is, it's scaring off my archaeologists.
Can you show us where you saw it?
If you kids insist on staying, I can't be responsible for what happens. I've got to get back to the ranger station.
Velma inspects the claw marks on a cave wall that the devil bear left behind. The claw marks have ruined the cave drawing, which might be a clue to a valuable treasure hidden in the caves.
This is where the devil bear took a swipe at me.
We then meet Chuck Hunt, who handles the radio gear. He tells Dr. Jeff Carver that he's wanted on the radio. The museum wants to know what's holding them up with the dig.
Kids, this is Chuck Hunt. He handles our radio and electrical gear.
Jeff, you're wanted on the radio. Mr. Ellison back at the museum wants to know what's holding us up.
I didn't know there was electricity out here.
There isn't, except what we produce for the dig with our generators. If that devil bear keeps showing up, then we won't be doing more digging anyway.
While eating a snack, Scooby is the first to run into the devil bear, and during the kerfuffle, he uncovers a room of cave drawings.
We must be getting close to the treasure chamber. What's an old umbrella doing in a cliff dwelling?
Jeff, is there anybody here beside your group?
Only an old hermit, McGee.
He's living in the caves down at the bottom of the cliff.
Velma finds an umbrella in the room, which is mighty suspicious. Professor Carver explains that an old hermit named McGee is living in the caves at the bottom of the cliff, and the umbrella might be his. The gang head down to talk to McGee, and he is suspicious of the gang as he feels he's being spied upon. McGee sees himself as an antique dealer. McGee also explains the natives left the caves decades ago due to the devil bear. Legend says that if anyone messes with the cliff dwellings, the devil bear will walk again. When McGee lived up there himself in the dwellings, he never saw the devil bear, but it wasn't until the archaeologists showed up and started poking around that the devil bear showed up. So they must have angered the devil bear.
An army of devil bears could hide in all this junk.
What are you kids doing in my cave? Your archaeologist friends send you down to spy on me? Antique dealer extraordinaire. They brought it on themselves. I ought to know. I used to live up there myself, till they kicked me out.
When you lived in the Pueblo, did the devil bear bother you?
Can't say that it did. But I wasn't a digging and a poking in every nook and cranny neither. Your poking around will just get the devil bear mad at me. Out! Before the devil bear gets you and that bunch of claim-jumping scientific Johnnies.
The gang make camp outside the cave dwellings, and during the night, Scrappy hears the devil bear. Scrappy drags Scooby and Shaggy up the cliffs, and Freddy, Velma, and Daphne soon follow. A quick chase scene occurs between Shaggy and the dogs, and at one point Shaggy is cornered until Freddy and the girls scare off the devil bear.
I'm checking the coward's handbook. Here it is. In case of bear attack. Nice, devil bear.
We got that old devil bear cornered now.
What happened to the devil bear?
Jeepers, Shaggy, you've got paint all over the back of your shirt.
It looks like this is how our bear made his getaway.
Like he must have taken the express elevator.
I'll bet this goes all the way down to those caves by the river.
While cornered, Shaggy notices that he has wet paint all over him. Freddy also discovers a ladder that goes all the way down to the river, which is how they suspect the devil bear disappeared so fast. The next day, Scooby once more runs into the devil bear and knocks over a hollow stalagmite. Inside the stalagmite, they find some batteries and wires.
A hollow stalagmite.
Hollow except for these batteries.
But what are batteries doing in a deserted cave? Maybe these wires will lead us to the devil bear.
Freddy, Daphne, and Velma follow the wires, and it leads right to Mr. McGee's cave, where Velma finds a tape recorder. Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy meanwhile get themselves in a wild raft ride that brings them to a room full of native relics. And of course, the devil bear is there as well.
Like it's the Grand Canyon branch of the U.S. Mint.
He can't take much more of this.
We get our final chase scene, and the devil bear ends up tangled in an old rug. Velma figured out the devil bear was fake, as it left 5 claw marks on the walls, where a real bear would only leave 4. The fresh paint Shaggy encountered was also an indication that something was fishy, and that fishiness was fake cave drawings. Unmasking the devil bear, it turns out to be Chuck Hunt. Chuck used a tape recorder and battery-operated lights to make the devil bear appear when he was around. Chuck had found the treasure before everyone else and had wanted to keep it all to himself.
So the cliff dwellings aren't haunted after all.
Our first clue was the 5 claw marks on the painting. A real bear would only leave 4.
And the paint on Shaggy's shirt proved that at least some of the cave paintings were fresh.
So someone was making new paintings to lead you in the wrong direction. Someone who knew enough about Indian art to fool even archaeologists.
Chuck Hunt.
But he was with us when we all saw the devil bear right here in this room.
But we never actually saw the bear. What we heard was a recorded bear roar.
And the glowing eyes we saw in the dark were just green lights.
But why?
He found the treasure and decided to keep it for himself.
I was gonna be rich. I figured the phony paintings would keep you busy until the devil bear scared everybody away.
Thanks, kids. Now everybody will be able to see the Indian treasures.
With another mystery solved, the gang head off on their next adventure. I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. The devil bear looks super cool, and I like the design of the creature, how they gave him that Native American kind of design with the lines on his face. And they gave him fangs that were pretty scary, and those claws that would just claw up even like cave walls, which are, pretty solid. Stone's pretty solid material, right? And this bear can just swipe it and destroy whatever's on there. Thought that was pretty cool. I'm a little bit biased. Bears have always kind of frightened me. I'm not like losing sleep over them, of course, but when I'm out in northern Ontario and I'm out walking out in the woods or whatever, I'm always quite conscious that there could be a bear around, and I take the proper precautions. But yeah, I'm always kind of a little bit terrified I might get killed by a bear. Not enough, again, to lose sleep over, but I've had nightmares in the past about bears just waking up suddenly because I've been attacked by a bear in my dreams. So it is something that does frighten me. So this primal kind of creature in this episode, I did find a little bit terrifying. There's also a good mystery behind this one. It's a bit obvious it was Chuck after the fact, but when I was watching it, it really could have been the ranger who leaves early on, or the female assistant, or McGee, the homeless thrift dude who's selling junk out of a cave. Could have been any of one. So I like that. And what else? Freddy, Velma, and Daphne, they have a bit more to do in this one. Not much more, as again, because Scrappy kind of takes up a lot of the screen time. Velma pretty much goes, that's interesting. But that's what she pretty much does this entire series, so that's nothing new. And Daphne just makes comments about things being odd or strange, which is pretty much what she does throughout this series again. And Freddy just takes charge and dictates what everyone should kind of do next. So that's what I kind of disliked about this episode. Like, I'm not anti-Scrappy. I just miss the extra screen time that Freddy, Daphne, and Velma had. And I kind of miss that. We also didn't get much of the Devil Bear either, but of course that plays into the mystery. It's kind of like a Jaws thing. Maybe you don't want to see a lot of them. You kind of want them just to show up to be scary and then vanish, I guess. So yeah, not a complaint there. You don't see enough of them to some degree, I guess. And when he does show up, he's not as intimidating as I would like. Yeah, he looks cool, and yeah, he leaves claw marks on walls, but in one scene, he gives Shaggy a bear hug, and that wasn't too scary. So part of me thinking he's scary after the fact was just me kind of projecting my fear of bears onto him. But showing this episode to a kid, they probably wouldn't be too frightened. All in all, I really did enjoy this episode and the change of scenery. We did see them visit cliff dwellings before, but this one was pretty much different compared to a bum steer for Scooby. Anyway, join me next week when I will be covering 20,000 Screams Under the Sea. And once again, I want to thank you for any likes, views, subscribes, comments, all of that. It's just, you really make my day every time I see a new comment or a new watch or a like or whatever. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And until next week, stay spooky.